Also consider the fact that most people in their deathbeds regret the fact that they never pursued their dreams. To clarify the meaning of our lives in our own terms, not from a position of philosophical or religious moral high ground. How to find purpose and pursue it. This here is $1,000,000 question, and I can't really answer it for you. But I can give you insight through sharing my own experiences of pursuing my own dreams and purpose. Hopefully you're able to resonate with this video. So what's up, what's good, what's happening? My name is Arn, and I'm an indie game developer. I'm actually working on a game right now as I'm speaking. I've been pursuing my own dreams, my own purpose for the past 3 years. This year I'm going to be releasing my own game called Yours Truly. And if you have time to wishlist it on Steam, please, I would appreciate it a lot. But anyways, dreams. So should you pursue them? I would say absolutely. Maybe because, by saying it, I would find camaraderie in it because I'm also pursuing my dreams. In a way, we tend to justify the things that we have or the things that we're pursuing and diminish the things that we lack. So I don't want to be biased and just say yeah, because it requires far more consideration, introspection, and nuance, I think the simplest reason I can give you is, hold up, this kind of working on something that requires a little more thought. Why is this not working? What the heck? The simplest reason I can give you on why you should pursue your dreams is because you'll only get this life. You'll only live this life, at least as far as we know it. I would try to be more objective than holistic here. So, what does that really mean? For me, nothing else in life is worth pursuing than the things that we want the most. The things that we truly desire independent of our trauma, the way we want others to see us, and what others think of us. But what even is purpose, right? What's the difference between desire, passion, and purpose? Hold up, jump scare. To pursue something, we must first clearly identify what that is. But that in itself is difficult because we have so many things that we're interested in, and it's hard to differentiate what our purpose is. So I think it's worth going down to the basics and investigate the differences between the words desire, passion, and purpose. And hopefully if you feel directionless, this can give you an idea and help you identify what your purpose is. So I've spent some considerable time, in literature about desire, passion, and purpose. After reading a bunch of philosophical and psychological treatises about desire, I found that the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy defines it accurately in its simplest form, and I quote, "To desire is to be in a particular state of mind. Desire is a matter of having dispositions to act." And there are many philosophical thoughts about desire. There are action-based desire, pleasure-based desire, good-based desire, attention-based desire, and what's the last one? Learning-based desire. And one thing these thoughts have in common is a person's disposition to act on a need or want that eventually fulfills in both short-term and long-term. For example, the desire to quench your thirst, the desire to find love, and the desire or wish to have never been born. In short, there are desires that are fleeting, compelling, and ever-present. What is passion? And I quote, "We only seem to hear about passion of successful people. We forget that failure share the same trait. Passion is an unbridled enthusiasm. It's the willingness to pounce on whatever is in front of us. It's the burning, unquenchable desire to start or to achieve something vague or distant goal. It's the flash of inspiration to quit your job, the hyped up conversations with our friends about what we're gonna do or who we're going to be." Ryan Holiday, Ego is the Enemy. I think it's important to look at the etymology of passion. Passion basically comes from the Latin word passio, which literally means to suffer, hence Passion of Christ. Then in Middle English, it changed to being affected by something external, like an illness. And the 17th, 18th century is defined as, public void. It's defined as enthusiasm, predilection, or object of great admiration or desire. So it's like desire, but way more emotional and way more directionless, and it's an intense feeling. Today, passion is interchangeable with purpose, and to find your passion is also to find purpose, but that's absolutely wrong. So how I would define passion based on its etymology is a great intense feeling for something or someone, which is why more often than not, it causes us to suffer when something that we're passionate about is not attainable or reciprocated. Don't get me wrong, passion is essential because it's a measure of our zeal towards something, and that's important. and it helps us to keep going. However, passion is not sustainable because it causes us intense emotions and feelings, and it's also very selfish. So one must also be purposeful. But what exactly is purpose? There are many school of thoughts that attempt to answer what purpose is. But based on my reading, I can put it simply within my own understanding. So purpose is the meaning that you give your life and the suffering you've endured or are willing to endure. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "Those who have a why can endure anyhow." Unlike passion and desire, which is very individualistic, purpose is what one wishes to contribute to the world. That brings an individual a very visceral form of fulfillment. Because while passion or desire can be for pleasure, purpose is more for progress, for prosperity, and is born out of careful deliberation. While passion and desire are both romantic and glamorous, purpose is more calculated and intentional. To put it simply, I think purpose is the harnessing of our passions and our desires and focusing it. Okay, I've stopped working here now. I'm just pontificating about purpose and desire. If purpose is the meaning you give your life, in a nihilistic standpoint, one can argue that life means nothing. Everything returns to nothing. Then I'd argue that nothingness can be freedom. If you're aware of the ideology of Camus and Sartre, then it's kind of hard to grasp what the meaning of life is. Because Camus openly mocks our frantic search for meaning while making compelling arguments about the meaningless of life, where he describes humans akin to Sisyphus, forever pushing a boulder up a hill. And Sartre tells us that there is no transcendent meaning or destinies for human life. But the way I see it, in the midst of the meaninglessness of life, we can either wallow in it, or we can view it as an opportunity to define it in our own terms. It's hard to work and philosophize at the same time, basically. But anyways, to clarify the meaning of our lives in our own terms, let's first define what that is. Not from a position of philosophical or religious moral high ground, but from self-objectivity. Also, let's omit people's expectations of us and rid ourselves of the narrative that we want to portray ourselves in, and our incoherent need to maintain such appearance. For once, let's truly be honest, okay? To define our purpose or our reason for living, I think we should begin with abstraction. Because abstract concepts like love, justice, equity, success, faith, and etc. are the building blocks of higher order thinking, enabling us to grasp complex ideas, engage in symbolic reasoning, and formulate intricate theories. Basically the essence of imagination, creativity, and innovation. And I would say prosperity too. So anyways, you ask yourself, right, what abstract concept do you value the most? If I were to give you an example of what abstraction I value the most, then it would be connection and freedom more than love, success, wealth, and etc. So take your time, ruminate, ponder what abstract concept you value the most. After identifying the abstraction you value the most in life, then explain it to yourself why you value it the most. For example, I value connection as the basis of my relationships with others and the world, like with my family, friends, and romantic relationships. Because I often find myself wanting or attempting to connect with people in a deeper sense, in a more visceral way, beyond the superficial. And I like knowing people for who they truly are, their vulnerabilities. Because when someone shows their vulnerability to you, you also become vulnerable. That's all that we want, right? For someone to know who we truly are. I might be projecting here, but at least for me. Which I think is a good foundation for love and friendships. And I value freedom in a temporal sense to afford myself more time for intellectual and creative pursuits. And hopefully to express and create things that resonate with other people, which goes back to connection. Let's assume that you've found what it is that you value the most. Now let's focus on how you want to achieve it. The best place to start is in the things that you're interested in. The things that you like to do, that maybe you're good at already or you want to be good at. For example, for me, I chose to start my game studio because I've always loved video games. And I knew I wanted to do something with video games. I wanted to do something with the game industry. Unfortunately, just like everybody else, I didn't know exactly how to do that So when I was in college, I started with political science, and then I dropped out, and then I went back to college for IT. I did cybersecurity for a little bit and network engineering, and nothing clicked until I took coding, programming. And the first thought I had was like, I can create video games with this. So that's what I pursued. And I actually enjoy coding. I was never good at it. And over time, I got better and better and better because I liked it and I was willing to sacrifice more for the sake of being good at something that will take me closer to my goal, which is creating video games. And now here I am creating video games. And I'm releasing my first commercial game that I developed by myself.
You have at least 25 appointments.
I wanted to do IT because I've always built my own computers because I'm a gamer. But then I realized that I don't like doing IT stuff for other people, fixing people's problem. I like fixing my own problem. And the thing is, like, money wasn't even the number one priority when I chose programming, because I didn't know it then, but I know it now that if you pursue something and then you get really good at it, money just follows. I mean, you're not going to be like, a billionaire, but you're going to be so good that you're going to get paid a lot for it that you will afford freedom. That's the reality. None of us want to be billionaire. We just want enough to work on our own terms and do what we want for a living. How does this correlate with prioritizing abstract concepts? So how does this correlate with abstract concepts? Let me explain, okay? I just completely stopped working. Since I love video games and I love coding or creating with code, then I've determined that I want to use video games as the medium in which I express myself creatively and intellectually, and also connect with people by creating games that resonate with people. Which means creating video games gives my life purpose, gives my life meaning. The things that you value the most, or the abstraction that you value the most, times the things you enjoy doing equals purpose. And the thing is, like, purpose doesn't even have to be grandiose, anything big, right? Let me give you another example. If you value love and family, or family and love, that sounds better, then you have to work on yourself to become worthy of love that you believe you deserve, so that you have the necessary skills to maintain and cultivate love to eventually start your own family. Once you have a family, you have to develop yourself again and have the necessary skills to raise healthy and mentally and emotionally capable children, so that they themselves can enter the world as healthy human beings and contribute with their own purpose. Also take into consideration that you have to be discerning enough to know that the person that you're going to choose to be in your life has to also have work on themselves to be worthy of your love. Then another example is, if you value happiness, then you have to develop the necessary skills of being happy, keeping your dopamine and your serotonin levels very stable by meditating, being grateful, getting vitamin D, all that stuff. Staying in the present, being a good friend to yourself. If your purpose is being happy, then you enter the world in a very pleasant way, which is magnetic to people. It draws people to you, and it inspires people to be happy too. Like, people want to be around you. That goes back to my point that our purpose in life doesn't have to be grandiose. By being true to yourself and knowing what you truly want in life and pursuing it enables you to become the most developed version of yourself. And it allows you to give more to the world than just by being passive in life, just letting life happen to you. But also, on the same note, remember that developing this kind of skills takes time, even a lifetime. And if you're getting the impression that I'm simplifying this too much, then maybe. However, I, amongst many people, know it all too well that it's not easy to pursue your purpose. Even with the moments of joyful and happiness that you experience, life without the pursuit of purpose or meaning is nevertheless difficult. So the way I see it is, do I wish to experience suffering in the pursuit of purpose, or what gives my life meaning? Or do I wish to experience suffering pointlessly? For me, the answer is clear, even with the risk of obscurity. To put it in perspective, the average person works like 90,000 hours in their lifetime, which is roughly 10 years. At the rate the world is going, most people is not going to retire at the right time or even at all. Also consider the fact that most people in their deathbeds regret the fact that they never pursued their dreams. The internet is trauma bonding. There's healing in pursuing purpose. Let's say I fail in my pursuit of my own purpose, which is to start a successful video game studio. The beauty in pursuing your purpose is how quickly you find yourself to be inadequate of the pursuit. I quickly found out how I lacked the patience, the focus, the humility, the empathy, the self-control, the strategic mind, the mindfulness, the conscientiousness, the work ethic, and etc. And in the past 3 years, I would say, and I would like to believe that I've changed a lot. Suffice to say that I've become a more developed version of myself, a more developed human being. You see, the pursuit of something greater than ourselves put into perspective how self-centered we truly are. And the insurmountable task at hand demands us to get over ourselves. By unlearning all the misconceptions that we have of the world and of ourselves that was put into us through no fault of our own and reshaped us into our underdeveloped versions. Unlearning all the, no, you can't do that, do this instead, it's safe, you should act this way, you shouldn't speak unless you're spoken to, you're not good enough, you're weird, act normally, you look funny, you're dressed funny, whatever else contributes to our, trauma and insecurities. And once you find what it is that gives your life meaning, the days are now just more than clocking in, and you'll spend most of it excited about the progress that you're making. But don't get me wrong, it'll be a battle of attrition. Enthusiasm will fade because it's fickle, but the purpose will still be strong. And the only way to continue the pursuit is to enjoy the journey, to enjoy the process. Hence why the abstraction that you value the most times the thing that you love to do equals purpose. It's because if you enjoy what you do, you're willing to sacrifice more, you're willing to endure more, versus the thing that you don't like to do. And unlike anything that we've experienced before, there's no grades to tell you how good you're doing. There's no quantifiable or tangible metric to measure how successful you are. But it'll be a deeper sense of fulfillment, a more visceral sense of it. It'll be difficult, it'll be enjoyable, it'll be a lot of things, but most of all, it'll be true and it'll be yours. Thank you for watching this video. And if you resonate with me and you like my content and you find this helpful, please subscribe, like, and comment. I would appreciate it a lot. You have a great day. And once again, thank you for